Let's talk about a massive challenge that hits India's east coast, and it hits with this terrifying regularity. It's really a one-two punch. First, you have to survive the storm itself, and then comes the long, hard road of rebuilding everything that was lost. It's a really complex story, and that's what we're diving into today. For the millions of people living along the Bay of Bengal, this time of year isn't just another season on the calendar. It's a period of high alert. You can almost feel it in the air. The sea gets restless, and an entire region just kind of holds its breath.
So why now? Well, if you look at the history books, October and November, that's the prime time. It's when the Bay of Bengal tends to be at its most volatile, spawning some of the most devastating storms. And, well, right on cue, we have Cyclone Montha, which really started ramping up around October 27th, putting that whole region on notice.
Now, what's really happening on the ground is pretty incredible. Look at the precision of the response. We know exactly which states are on alert, Odisha and Andhra Pradesh, and even the specific districts bracing for impact. And what's crucial is the action that's already being taken. We're talking about nearly 10,000 people moved to safety in Andhra's coastal areas, and the National Disaster Response Force, the NDRF, their teams are already there, ready to go.
This kind of preparation, this level of readiness, it doesn't just happen by accident. It's a system that was born from some really immense tragedy. So you have to ask, what painful lessons from the past built the life-saving response that we're seeing today?
Just let that number sink in for a second. 10,000. Back in November 1977, a severe cyclone slammed into Andhra Pradesh, and an estimated 10,000 people died. It was just a catastrophic failure of the warning systems, of the entire response.
And then, a little over 20 years later, unbelievably, it happened again. The 1999 Odisha supercyclone was one of the most intense storms ever recorded in that region, and the death toll was almost identical, another 10,000 people. These weren't just bad storms. They were monumental disasters that showed the system was fundamentally broken.
And this is where you can really see the transformation. Before the year 2000, the approach was basically reactive. A storm would hit, and then the response would scramble to catch up, often way too late. But today, it's a completely different story. The whole system is proactive. It's built on getting those early warnings out, executing mass evacuations, and a coordinated government response that has, thankfully, made those massive death tolls a thing of the past.
So here it is, the modern playbook for handling a cyclone. It all kicks off with precise alerts from the weather department. That triggers the state governments to start mass evacuations, getting people out of harm's way. Then, special forces like the NDRF are deployed before the storm even makes landfall. And only after people are safe does the focus shift to relief, and then finally, rehabilitation. It's a system that quite simply works.
Okay, so this is a huge deal. India has gotten incredibly good at saving lives. It's a massive achievement, for sure. But does that mean the cyclone challenge is conquered? Problem solved? Not even close. The battle has just moved to a new front. Because after the storm passes, after the wind and rain finally stop, this is what's left behind. Wrecked homes, smashed infrastructure. People's jobs are just gone. Especially if you're in farming or fishing, and you see this devastating loss of livestock, the cattle, the poultry that so many families depend on for their entire income. And of course, this damage always hits the most vulnerable people the hardest.
If you want to understand what livelihood loss actually looks like, just look at Cyclone Gaja from 2018. That wasn't just a storm for coastal Tamil Nadu, it was an economic wipeout. Entire districts saw their family wealth, all tied up in their cattle and poultry, just vanish overnight. For those people, surviving the storm was just the first, brutal step.
And this right here, this is the big challenge for the 21st century. India has pretty much mastered the science of saving people from the storm itself. But the next frontier, the much more complicated one, is making sure that everyone gets a fair shot at rebuilding their life and their livelihood after the storm is gone.
So when it comes to this new frontier, what's the big takeaway? It really boils down to this quote. The technology is there, the warning systems are in place, but true recovery, real resilience, that requires something more. It requires a deep commitment to fairness, making sure that every single person affected, no matter who they are, gets the help they need without any prejudice. And the final question is, can that human commitment be as strong and as reliable as the storm warnings themselves?